Hello everyone, today I will discuss about refraction at a convex spherical surface. Okay, so just look at here. This is a convex spherical surface. Okay, this is our object and ray coming from this object, two rays coming from this object. Here we assume that the object is a point object. Okay, and we know about that to form our image we always we should take two rays from a single point. So here I am taking two rays, one ray which is coming along this direction, that means which is passing through center of curvature, and another rays coming along this side and incident at point A, and this is, that means Cn is the normal at point A. Okay, and the ray bend, we know about that the refractive index of this medium is n1 and the refractive index of this medium is n2, and here we assume that n1 less than n2. Here we assume that n1 less than n2. That means the light travel rarer medium to denser medium, right? So obviously the rays bends towards normal, so the ray bent along this side, and this two refracted ray, this ray incident on this convex spherical surface along the normal. Okay, that means we can say that OP is normal at point P. That's why this ray after refraction cannot change its original path, and these two refracted ray meet at point I. So we can say that I is the real image of O object. Okay, so here you can see this is the incident angle which is I, and this is the refracted angle which is R. Here we assume that this angle is alpha, this angle is gamma, and this angle is beta. Okay, and here we should take a perpendicular from A point on this principal axis, that means on this axis. This is the pole of this spherical surface, this is the center of this spherical surface. Okay, so just look at here, from COA triangle, if we take this triangle COA, then we can write, just look at here, from this COA triangle, this is the exterior angle, and we know that exterior angle equals to sum of two interior angles, so we can write I equals to alpha plus gamma, right? And from triangle CIA, just look at here, CIA, if we take this triangle, then you can see here this is the external angle, right? So gamma equals to sum of two opposite interior angle, that means we can write from this triangle CIA triangle, we can write gamma equals to beta plus R. So here gamma equals to R plus beta or beta plus R. So R equals to what? Gamma minus beta. If we apply Snell's law, because this is the refraction, right? And the the light refracted by this boundary, S dashed boundary, and the light travel rarer medium to denser medium. So now from Snell's law, sin I by sin R equals to, we know that absolute refractive index of denser medium by absolute refractive index of rarer medium, right? Because we know that from Snell's law, sin I by sin R equals to n to 1, and n21 equals to n2 by n1. What is n21? n21 represents refractive index of second medium with respect to first medium, which is equals to absolute refractive index of second medium by absolute refractive index of first medium. Absolute refractive index of first medium. Okay, so just cross multiply it, n1 sin I equals to n2 sin R. Next, for a spherical surface of small aperture, the point A will be quite close to P, because here we assume that this is the very small part. This arc is the very small part of a larger sphere. That means the aperture of this small part is very less. That means we can say that these 2 points is very close to each other. So if they are very close to each other, then we can say that angle I and R will be very small. If I and R are measured in radian, then we may be put sin I equals to I. If angle is very very small and measured in radian, then we can write sin of that angle equals to angle. So sin I equals to I and sin R equals to R. Hence, this equation will be n1I equals to n2 R. So now we know I equals to alpha plus gamma. So n1 into alpha plus gamma equals to n2 into gamma minus beta. Just look at here, R equals to gamma minus beta. Now just multiply n1 alpha plus n2 gamma equals to n2 gamma minus n2 beta. Now just look at here, again for a small aperture surface, the point M will be quite close to P. Due to small aperture, A and P both point very close to each other, and due to this assumption we can also say that this M point and P point is also close to each other. So if M and P is very close to each other, then we already assume that A and P point is also near equal to each other. That means we can say that alpha, beta and gamma will be also small. That we may replace them alpha equals to tan alpha. How? Because we know tan alpha equals to sin alpha by cos alpha, right? If alpha is very small, for very small angle alpha, sin alpha equals to alpha and cos alpha equals to 1. If alpha is very small, that means if alpha is very small, then we can write tan alpha equals to alpha. Okay, so alpha equals to, we can take tan alpha. And what about tan alpha? Just look at here, if we take this right angle triangle AOM, if we take this right angle triangle, then tan alpha equals to perpendicular, that means AM by base OM, okay, or MO. Or MO. So alpha equals to tan alpha equals to AM by MO. AM by PO. We can write MO equals to PO, because we assume that M point and P point near equal to each other. So AM equals to, here we assume that AM equals to H and PO represent object distance, right, which is U, and here object distance is negative. So that's why H by minus U. Next, beta equals to tan beta. Just look at this triangle AMI, this right angle triangle AMI. So from AMI right angle triangle, tan beta equals to AM perpendicular by MI. So AM by MI. Now we know these 2 points are very close to each other. That means we can replace AMI by PI. So ultimately we will get beta equals to AM by PI. Now AM equals to H and PI represent, just look at here, PI represent image distance, right? And this is positive because this is along the direction of light. So plus V. We should take plus B. Gamma equals to what? Tan gamma. Tan gamma, we should take this right angle triangle AMC. If we take AMC, then tan gamma equals to AM by MC. Now we can replace MC by PC, right? So we will get AM by PC. AM by PC. AM equals to H and PC equals to R. That means radius of curvature, and R is also positive because this measurement is done along the direction of light. So just put all these values in this equation. So just look at here, n1 into H by minus U plus n1 into H by R equals to n2 into h by r minus n2 into h by v. So after solving all this, we will get the final result. Which is, just take in this one is along this side and take this one is along this side. So then we will get finally n2 by v minus n1 by u equals to n2 minus n1 by r. Okay. Now second topic is this is our second topic, refraction of light through a thin lens, or we can say Lens-Maker formula. In this topic we will prove that Lens-Maker formula, okay, or we will derive the Lens-Maker formula, not prove, derive. Okay, so here just look at this picture. This is our lens. Okay, here I am taking a point object and these are the direction of light. Okay, so that means just look at here, we should take two rays from this point object. So one ray which is coming along this side and which is passing through the O point. O is called optical center of a lens. Okay, any ray, just look at here, any ray after refraction, this is our lens, this is our lens, and this is the optical center. Okay, and this is the principal axis of lens. Suppose a ray coming along this side, okay, and after refraction by this surface, it's passing through O center and then again refracted, right? Because in lens refraction have done two times. So if the ray passing through O point, then the incident ray should be parallel to emerged ray. Okay, and this O point is called optical center. That means if any ray is passing through optical center, then at that situation incident ray should be parallel to emerged ray. So just look at here, this ray passing through optical center, then the incident ray should be parallel to emerged ray. This is the emerged ray. Okay, now what about this ray? This ray is not passing through O center. Just look at here, this ray is incident at this point. Suppose this is the point A and this is the point B. So incident at O point, and just look at here, this is the actual this is the actual path of this ray, but the ray travel rarer medium to denser medium. Here I am assuming that n1 less than n2. Okay, so the light ray the light ray moving rarer to denser medium, then the rays after refraction bends towards normal and and incident this B point and again refracted. Acha, just look at here, this is the normal, right? AC1 is the normal at point A and C2B is the normal at point B. Okay, and then when the ray incident at point B, then it's again refracted, and in this situation the ray moving or traveling denser medium to rarer medium, right? Because N2 to N1, so denser medium to rarer medium, and we know that this is the actual path, of this ray, right? Then the ray bends away from the normal and meet at I point, finally meet at I point. So I point is the image of O, right? But if this surface is not exist at here, only this surface is exist at here, then the ray should be meet at I dashed point, right? If this surface is not exist at here, then the light only refracted through this surface, and after refraction it should meet at point I dashed. Okay, so that means if this surface is not exist here, then I dashed is the image of O. But due to this surface, the ray is refracted 2 times, and that's why it's meet at point I. Okay, so just look at here, refraction. Okay, so this is the object distance, which is U. Just look at here, this is from P1O. P1O is object distance. Just I am writing here P1O equals to minus U, because along this side. Okay, P2I equals to plus V. Okay, and P1I dashed equals to plus V dashed, and this is R1. That means P1C1 equals to plus R1, and P2C2 equals to minus R2. Okay, so all these are the distance from two poles. And the thickness of this, here I am assuming that the thickness of this lens is T. This is T. Okay, so refraction at the first surface, that means from this surface. Refraction at the first surface we know about that this is a convex spherical surface, right? Just look at here, just match this. This is a convex spherical surface. This is the pole of this convex spherical surface. This is the center of curvature of this convex spherical surface, right? So just look at here, we know about that for a convex, any rays, if any rays refracted at a convex spherical surface, then we can write this equation, right? So just look at here, I am also writing this. So for this surface we can write into by V dashed. Why V dashed? Because for this surface, this is the object and this is the image, right? If this surface is not present at here, then this surface, only this convex surface formed image of this O object at point I dashed. So for this surface, into by V dashed, which is image distance, which is I dashed, minus N1 by U, this is object distance, equals to N2 minus N1 by R1. What is R1? R1 is the radius of curvature of this convex surface. Just look at here, P1C1. P1C1 equals to R1, which is radius of curvature of this surface. So for first surface, light travel rarer to denser medium. That's why we should take this equation, because here we considering light travel rarer to denser medium. But here if we assume that in this case N2 less than N1, that means this is the denser medium and this is the rarer medium, then just this form will be changed. That means N2 take negative sign, N2 replaced by N1 and N1 replaced by N2. Then the equation will be N1 by V minus N2 by U equals to N1 minus N2 by R. Okay, so just look at here for second surface. For second surface behaves like a convex surface, right? And for second surface, light travel denser to rarer medium, right? Because for second surface, light travel from denser to rarer medium? Because this one is indicate boundary of denser to rarer medium, rarer boundary, and this is rarer denser boundary. So for second surface, light travel denser to rarer medium. Okay, so for second surface refraction, so for refraction at the second surface we have n1 by v. V is the image. So for second surface this is the image, and for second surface this is the object. Okay, for first surface this is the object, and for first subject this is the image, but for second surface I is the image and I dashed is the object, but here I dashed behaves like a virtual object for second surface. So we should take n1 by image distance, which is v. Just look at here, this is the image distance, sorry n1 by v minus n2 by object distance. So for second surface this is I dashed is the object, so we should take what is the value of p2 I dashed. P2 I dashed equals to v dashed minus t, right? Because this one is v dashed and this portion is t, so it should be v dashed minus t. So I am writing here n2 by v dashed minus t equals to n1 minus n2 by r2. Clear? Now for second surface, light travel denser to rarer medium, that's why n1 and n2 interchange, and I dashed behaves like a virtual object and I is the real image. If the lens is thin, then we can assume that if the lens is thin lens, then we can assume that t less than v dashed and can be ignored. Then we have, then what will we get? Then this equation becomes to n1 by v minus n2 by v dashed equals to n1 minus n2 by r2. R2 is the radius of curvature of this second surface. Just look at here, P2C2. P2C2 is the radius of curvature of this second surface. So just look at here, from this two equation, if we add this two equation, then this one and this one, this is equation 1 and this is equation 2. If we add this two equation, then we will get n1 by v minus n1 by u equals to n2 minus n1 into 1 by r1 minus 1 by r2. Now dividing both side by n1, we have, if we divide it both side by n1, then 1 by v minus 1 by u equals to n2 by n1 minus 1 into 1 by r1 minus 1 by r2. Putting n2 by n1 equals to n. n2